Now, before I start talking about romance between fictional teenagers,
No kiss.
you have to understand that I am from India, which is a highly gender-segregated patriarchal society. Even in most urban cities, women cannot step out of their homes after 9 p.m. at night. Why? Men!
Why are you running?
Dating is basically illegal, but if you try it and the public finds out, then the girl's family will come and they will tie you to a tree and they will lash you for every syllable that you uttered to the women. Now you might be wondering, how do men get and women get? There's a societal approved way which is called arranged marriage, which is simply an indirect way of maintaining socioeconomic status within families. The system is elegantly simple. Families of matching socioeconomic status come together. We own 6 buffaloes! Oh my god, you're so rich, let me suck your banana! The mother of the boy has the final say. She will decide whether she likes the girl or not based on skin color, cooking skills, and the purity of the...
You can't keep getting away with it!
And I really hope my mother knows that I'm into girls who are kind of mean on the surface but actually have a caring side once you get to know them. And this duality is because they have a traumatic past, but they once had an encounter with a god crab who took away their traumatic memories. Oh wait, that is just Senju Gohara. So, why did I tell you all this? So that you can know I know nothing about real romance. But from years of consuming anime and manga, I know a lot about fictional romance. I tell you man, if I was an anime high school boy, I would be drowning in.
It's disgusting.
Now that the disclaimer has been done, let me come back to the topic. Is it justified for Armin to have feelings for a woman who ruthlessly killed his precious comrades? One, two, three, four, five, six. 7, 8, 9.
Oh shit!
And she kills in style.
Come sit on my face.
Look, here she is trying to aura farm using this guy as a yo-yo. A wife waiting for her husband to come home, children for their father, and a father for his son. Their wishes of seeing their loved ones once again, it will never be fulfilled because the dead only exist in memories. By the way, these are 5 children. The aliens have the technology to invent ODM gear that is made by mining and forging metal, but somehow they cannot invent rubber condoms. Even after all this, I think Armin likes Annie for mainly 2 reasons. 1 and 2. It's a joke. Armin is not that shallow. He's a kind guy who wants to achieve peace by using diplomacy and come to an understanding via talks with his enemies, minimizing casual and unnecessary damage. He's aware that Annie has her own reasons to do what she's doing and that one time she spared his life. Now for Annie's reasons to like Armin, she's into twinks.
I should not be turned on right now.
Annie and Armin fall in the classic archetype of Beauty and the Beast. A cynical, hard-boiled warrior, softened by their compassionate counterpart. Annie is the beast that is wounded and traumatized, who carries overwhelming might and power that tramples anything that gets in her way. Armin is the beauty, the gentle hand, the one who sees humanity in the beast, for all his empathy for Annie and the complexity of the situation that she might be in. If I look at Annie's action towards Armin earlier in the series, Annie trampled and annihilated scouts like insects. Her sole reason for completing her mission on Paradise Island is to return to her father. She's someone who suppresses her empathy for sake of survival. As we can see that she's frustrated and hesitant when she has to take off Marco's gear. why the trio has to leave him alive to be eaten by the Titans. Rest in peace, Marco. You had like 5 seconds of screen time, yet you still become the recurring talk of the show. Despite Annie's ruthless efficiency during missions, she is shown to be sparing Armin's life multiple times. Once she checks and realizes that it is not Eren, she could have easily trampled him, but she does not. She simply leaves. Armin somehow managed to evoke moral hesitation in Annie. Now, Armin's action towards Annie are a bit trickier. Armin is an intellectual person with all his attack strategies, his ideas about the outside world, including the vision of the sea, and he's somewhat naively idealistic. Always searching for understanding rather than pure vengeance, unlike Eren. Even when they bait Annie into the trap, he still wants to understand the reasons behind her actions till the last moment. Now, till this point in the anime, Annie and Armin's romance does not make much sense, but the fandom, they had started shipping them together quite strongly. And the fandom likes to justify the romance by saying that when Armin eats Boruto, he also inherits Boruto's feeling towards Annie. But we know that is simply not true because Armin did not directly inherit all of Boruto's memories. They come in chunks and randomly when you touch or feel certain things. Xavier could not change Zeke. Kruger, Grisha or Frida definitely could not change Eren. Ymir did not change Porco and Porco definitely did not change Falco. But it could definitely make sense that Armin over the course of 3 or 4 years gains access to certain Boruto's memories. He simply comes to understand the circumstances and the environment the Eldian warriors grew up in. And thereby he comes to understand why Annie killed his comrades in the most ruthless, entertaining ways, even slightly enjoying it and prolonging the suffering even in circumstances where she could have totally made the death a lot quicker. Meanwhile, from Annie's point of view, she is stuck in a crystal and this guy is the only person who has been talking to her regularly for 4 years. Of course, she is bound to feel some belonging or at least some sort of connection. There's a sort of emotional codependency here because Armin gets to confess his guilt over how things turned out while Annie, she gets to sense some human belonging. I can almost guarantee you that Armin after a while started practicing pickup lines, thinking Annie could not hear him. Annie, if you were a titan, instead of your neck, I would eat your... Okay, let's be honest, Isayama simply is bad at writing romances. There's also the foundation that limited number of chapters were left, so he had to wrap the story. Annie is simply into twinks and Armin secretly is a perverted freak who has a bit of a savior complex and I can fix her attitude. He wants the Titan to see. The only real sucker here is Boruto because he was planning to confess his feelings to Annie, but instead, he gets eaten and gets his consciousness trapped inside his romantic competitor. Then he has to watch himself getting cucked.
Hey, the video is ended. This is a kind of a video where I try to remove any kind of fluff and statistics, numbers, just kind of a narration style of videos. Do you like it? Maybe you don't. If you don't, that's totally chill. But if you like it, I will be making more videos. Subscribe if you want to see more narrative style videos.